So
And we're live. What's this? Episode number 3.
The countdown
For the
went from 5 to nothing.
I know from the Fam Only podcast. Got Jose. We got Jay, who we won't mention what his job is. James Jordan, who might want to push his
Wet lip.
mic down just a little bit because I hear a lot of breathing. And
that's just how I breathe.
Jeffrey Scott Inman in the cut. What's up, fellas? How y'all been? It's been 3 weeks since we connected. What's been going on?
6 because James was too cool to come last time.
That's right. That is right.
I'm not going to apologize for being too cool, Jeff. I got a lot going on.
I know, but the first
Never
one you
apologize for
came,
being too cool.
You put in some suggestions, and I was like, "Fuck you guys! I'm just not gonna show up to number 2."
Never.
Did you get a new haircut, James?
I just grew it out. So
No,
just,
like the hairline's looking real strong. So I didn't
got
know.
a strong hair. It's an integral part about being too cool is having too strong of a hairline.
Right, that's why I keep my hat on
Yeah.
because my hairline is non-existent.
That's
Well, you
why I
got
always
secrets to
look
keep,
up.
and I appreciate that.
Oh, we all got secrets, right?
Yeah.
Two things happened in my life here, fellas. I'll just give you a quick update. So
Hey,
I
did you get married
moved
yet?
recently.
Your wife's
Yeah,
pregnant.
No, man, never. I don't know about the second one. I don't. You know.
Hey, gotta be careful when you shoot the club up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
All right. So you moved.
Yeah, I moved. So I was previously a resident of Virginia. Now I'm a Maryland resident.
Oh, nice.
Which is an interesting transition. And then today's my birthday, fellas.
Oh shit!
Happy birthday, man. Oh, are we bad
Is this-
friends for not knowing?
No, it's just not. It's not a thing I tell.
Do
a lot of
friends
people.
know each other's birthdays?
I don't know
Absolutely not.
To be
Listen,
honest,
I don't
know
have
Jose's
any idea
birthday
what
that
any
day.
of y'all's birthdays are. So
I barely
think
know your kid's name. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I think that's. I don't have kids. I don't think I know any of y'all's birthdays, and I consider that a mark of true friendship. It doesn't matter when you were born. You're special every day.
No,
Thanks.
I 100%
Hearts.
concur because my wife is always saying like it's so and so's anniversary, and my first response every fucking time is who?
Oh,
Like, who the fuck is that? Like, if I wish any of you happy birthday, that's because I've been prepped that it's that day by somebody else. But like,
Yeah.
I totally agree. Like, that is a true mark of friendship because those things don't matter in our life. Like when we connect, it's just connecting. You know what I mean?
true. But
Yeah.
I do think like as you get older, and then the realization or the like, hey, I can die at any time. I can slip in my bathroom and die and stuff like that. Like we should maybe celebrate each other's birthdays or put it in the calendar at least. Maybe I mean that's just me though, but I don't know.
You fucked up this, and this is why we're friends. Because all I could think about when you said that is
Slipping in the shower.
somebody slipping in, like one of our friends slipping and dying on their birthday, and all of us sending them a fucking happy birthday text while they're crippled up on the floor.
They're trying to reach the phone and they can zip, 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 it keeps buzzing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
but see,
sucks.
you guys gotta understand.
That's
though,
the saddest
Jose's-
TikTok.
Jose's got like
Saddest
a
TikTok.
deep resentment for birthdays. So
Jose does?
as close as Jose and I are, and our other friend Jeremy are, he would never tell us his birthday. Never.
It wasn't a thing growing up, though.
It was for years.
thought-
We found out on the slick somehow, and then we both put it in our phones because he would never tell us.
Look, when I grew up, birthdays were not a thing. Like I'll be honest, there was years like we didn't do cakes, I didn't get presents. Like it just wasn't a thing, and it was just because we just didn't have a lot of money. So it was kind of one of those things. It's funny that you mentioned all this shit because like it was. I tried to have a conversation. I think I told you about it. I tried to have a conversation with my mom about like I don't resent any of my childhood, but like there are some scars that I've walked away with that to sum it up quickly, like I said, I struggle with imposter syndrome. I struggle with the fact that people care about me because I just didn't get that type of love as a kid. And then like I'm terrible with money from the sense of like it's fucking hard for me to
Because you make
spend
too much
money.
of it. I know it's hard.
Wow.
It sucks,
No, but like
I
it's
don't know how
just
to spend all my money.
These two commas.
yeah, but like I would love if you guys told me your birthday, like I'd love to be there and all that. Like I'm all about like supporting other people, but when it comes to me, like I had something happen recently. Like I struggle with people being like, "Hey, congratulations," or like positive things in my life. I'm just like, nah, let's just keep it fucking moving. Like I don't like talking about me. So
That's great. So, James, did you guys do anything for your birthday?
We didn't do anything for my birthday specifically. So we closed on this house at the beginning of the month.
are,
Moved
are
in.
those real wood floors?
Yes.
Hey, I appreciate you saying that you closed on a house. I'm really having a hard time with my girlfriend and I trying to buy a house. So, just cut me deep, man. I appreciate you.
I didn't. Hey, man, listen. I think this is, if anything, it's an
No, James.
example of how you
Fuck
can.
that, James. Fuck that, James. You tell them about that house. Tell them about the pool in the backyard. Tell them about
Yeah,
tell them about the square footage. Tell them
got
about
you
that
got a
square
pool.
footage we was talking about.
Yeah, I got, guys, I got a pool. It's in the ground. It's in the
Oh,
basement.
in-ground
It's dope.
pool, man. You guys
Nice.
rich.
It's dope.
Nice.
It's
Look
dope.
at that.
Well, I'm not rich. I just live in Maryland. like, like I'm Virginia poor. Like Maryland, all in.
We rich, bitch.
Wow, that's dope.
All you
Now,
got to do is move north, baby.
Hey,
Get past the
hey.
Potomac.
now,
That's it.
were you living up near Howard?
Yeah, so we were living in Falls Church.
Ooh,
So
expensive.
about like 30 minutes from Jose.
I gotcha.
And so we were renting a dump basically, and started doing the math. If we moved out of the dump, it was going to cost like $4,000 a month just to like live in this
Mhm.
area. You know
Ah,
what I'm saying? And so we were like, oh well, let's see if we can find a thing. We found a couple of houses, put some offers in, they didn't go through, and then we found this one, and they were like, oh, this is a crazy house. We don't think we'll get it, and then we did.
Oh man,
So
congrats.
Well, you know what? We're
so
gonna ride your coattails on that, my friend.
well, I'm looking forward to the cookout, fellas. Come on up. Looking forward to
Nice.
seeing all y'all. Like a
Let's do
stupid
it,
amount of
man.
space.
Yeah.
But I
just
mean,
don't.
I think like you asked Jose if we'd done anything special. Like so, my family.
I asked that. Don't
Sorry,
give him
No, no,
credit.
no. I
sorry,
did because I care more. Happy
sorry.
birthday.
So we thank you. We came moved in about 2 weeks ago. So my family's up. My brother's down. My mom and dad are up. We just had some of my dad's friends over for dinner. So it's been kind of a celebratory. It's a celebratory time. It's been a big
Nice.
year. I got married a year ago, and now I'm 1 year older. It's good, man.
So I have a question. I have a question just because I know the backstory. Was that like a underhanded like joke about your brother saying that he was down, or you just saying like he was
Oh,
visiting?
oh man,
He's
we're,
he's visiting.
we're
You're
supportive
not
here.
allowed. Yeah, no. I appreciate that, Jose. You're not allowed to joke about my brother like that. It's off limits. He's too close to home.
But
Uh,
that's love though. That's love
it's
between
tough.
friends.
Both. I guess is the answer to the question.
Well, I guess now that we're on this train, have you asked like questions like about that, or is just kind of like, hey, you're my brother, it don't matter?
Yeah. No, we talk about it pretty openly, like in the same
That's
way
cool.
that any of us would talk about our wives or girlfriends. He talks about his relationships and his partner and like the bullshit they're going through. It's mostly the same, uh,
I would
except
imagine.
it's a male name. It's essentially exactly the same bullshit,
Yeah.
right? Um, yeah. Ask me a more specific question.
Well, I was meaning more on like the physical side, like if he was like, yo, I was smashing
Oh
out,
my
blah blah blah,
god.
So I'll
before.
tell you. I'll tell you this story that he's given me.
Serious? Wait, hold
Yeah,
on. Serious question, because you think about how we used to talk back in college. Like, if I'm
yeah.
just curious.
Right.
Yeah. So the answer is yes. So I'll tell you this one story. It's not about him specifically, but he's given me carte blanche to tell it. So a friend of his would regularly pull like Richard Pryor's on his partners, which would be where you sprinkle cocaine on your dick.
Oh my god. What is this?
And so we affectionately call this friend of my brother's coke dick. And it just
Just just
But
just
wait,
go for it. Don't even have anything subtle. Like I
That
thought you were gonna say like we call him Richard Pryor. You just no. That's
no,
hey, what's up, Coke Dick? How you doing today?
that is now the title of episode 3.
Coke.
it's not coke dick.
I am
Love
typing it in right now.
so
it.
wait. So do you tell people like, hey, I just sprinkled some powder on my peen, or
Sometimes,
do you just let them
I
find
mean,
out when?
from what I understand, no.
That's crazy. That feels like Bill Cosby-ish, no?
It
Okay,
feels, you know who it feels like? It feels like Richard fucking Pryor.
Like when he set himself on fire? Is that what we're saying? Like it burns?
Like when he did that to Pam Grier.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I'm gonna
So
have
I
to do
have a
more
question.
research.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
for
Google
me,
it.
I was thinking like, you do the line on it and then the other guy comes and snorts it up. But you're saying he just puts it on and then goes in.
Yeah. So like, so it's like all the pre-work goes on, right? Like you get ready for the main show, right? You got to get prepped for that. In that preparation process, you're not necessarily looking, right? So just tap tap tap,
That's crazy.
little
Oh
dab,
my God.
little dab will do you. Keep it going all night long.
Yeah, I heard
It's
it was like a Viagra pill.
Yeah, yeah.
just,
It's a stimulant, right? So like, why not?
That's
have you
crazy,
ever, you
man.
It's like
guys,
a
do
like
you
a
know who
sugar packet.
you know who David Lucas is? He's a comedian.
Mm-mm.
So anyway, I listened to another podcast called Kill Tony, and he always comes on there, and he was making a joke about like gay guys, and he was saying something to the effect of like something like that, like you always got to have something going on, because he was like in regards to like a stimulant or Viagra or whatever, because then he goes like he has this line, and he's like, yeah, because I can gummy worm my dick into a pussy, but you ain't gonna gummy worm your dick into no asshole, and I fucking
Nope.
lost it, but it was real facts, real facts.
Real facts.
That's it. That's just physics, bro. That's just you gotta.
That's crazy.
He
A
said,
yeah, a certain amount of tension is required to penetrate the surface.
I mean, in a vagina, let's be honest, you don't have to be full staff, but like if you just got enough going on, it'll get you going. But if you've ever tried to go in the back door like that, it's kind of one of like these things.
You got to
That's,
It's
muster all the troops. Keep
I
the
have so many
keep the
questions.
analogy going.
all the troops, every dirty, nasty thought you've ever had in your entire life. Like, come on, God, she gave me the go ahead. I gotta make it happen now.
That's crazy.
You got to both be ready and be totally relaxed.
At the same time. But I didn't know the cocaine trick. I might try that. I don't know
Yeah,
where to find cocaine these
no,
days,
you.
but
Oh, how would you? You're a family man. You've got an important position
Yeah,
in
but
the world.
he's got the
Yeah,
monetary side
yeah. You
that
live in
you
a nice
tend to
neighborhood, so
know.
I'm
Yeah,
sure your neighbor has some.
yeah.
Would we call it a neighborhood? Is it a
The
neighborhood
street.
yet? Like last
The
time, it
street.
was like 3 houses built out of a farm.
Yeah,
Last
No.
time I was there. So,
yeah.
oh man, that is too funny. I'd be surprised. Maybe my neighbors do. My neighbors are pretty secretive. I would bet money that one of them does. The one that has the biggest house. Like I'd bet the farm that I could find uh some supplements at his house.
It's part of it, right? It's part of the mystique. You got a yacht, some coke, go out in the backyard and shoot some skeet shooting. It's all part of
Hey, and you literally just described everything
it.
he's got going on.
Yeah, it's all part of it.
See,
He has his
Playing
own shooting
polo.
range
Yeah.
in the backyard. They got like 14 cars over there, RV.
Why wouldn't you do drugs? If I had an insane amount of money, why wouldn't I do drugs? Like what else is there to do?
I could think of many things.
Yeah,
like what, Chuck?
drugs is one of
No way.
them.
It's a, I mean, it's a very valid question. We have those friends. We have some coworkers who are on sabbatical, traveling the world. Literally, they took 7 months off, every continent. I mean, everywhere. They're actually backpacking, doing a 40-day backpack through Africa right now, and then they're going to be on their last leg heading to Europe next month. But like, I was talking to Kayla about it, and I'm like,
Are they stopping
how
in
do
Sudan anytime soon?
well,
No.
I'm just like,
Try
how
to.
do you come? What do you do when you come back? If you've taken that time and seen everything, like, what do you do after that? Like, how do you just go back into work every day and just do this
Good
normal
question.
bullshit ass like 9 to 5 when you've literally seen like some of the most amazing shit in the world? Like, their
Jose,
pictures are crazy.
Jose, I bet you $10 that within the next 6 months, this motherfucker starts a nonprofit.
Because he needs to embezzle his money somehow. That's how you do it. You start a
Yeah.
nonprofit and clean the money somehow.
I told her, I said, I bet you they come back and probably say, hey, we're gonna go live in Australia, like move away or something. Like they just, you know what I mean? Like you go see the pyramids and they're swimming with fucking whale sharks and feeding elephants in Africa and all. Like when
That's
you do
crazy.
shit like that, like how do you come back into this bullshit? I mean, and I'm in the corporate world or whatever you guys do. Like, how do you go back into that normal fucking 9 to 5 and sit on Zoom calls all day talking about shit that don't matter?
Yeah, but it also could give them appreciation too, right?
Yeah.
For the United States. Now, I haven't been out of the country, so I am very limited. But that's one of the reasons that I want to be able to end up traveling, especially with the kids and the family, is to show like what everybody else has, type
Yeah.
of thing.
And that's what they're doing though, for real. Like they want their boys to see like other areas and what
Mm-hmm.
they're doing and stuff like that. But also too, I guess as I think about it more, like if you've just always been in that lifestyle, it could just be a vacation for you. Like you
Yeah.
might just see it as that, like, oh, we did this thing, it was cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now back to go, let's go back to work.
I would,
Whereas like when you come from the mud or you know what I mean, you're like, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
yeah, I would say like it. I think so. When I went to Ghana for a couple of weeks, it provided a reset. Especially at that time, you couldn't like there was where we stayed. It wasn't any power. I mean, it had power, but like it was limited. You didn't have cell phone reception or anything like that. Um, you get up, when the sun rises, and chill out when the sun goes away, goes down. Um, sunsets is the word I was looking for, but but it does like offer you an appreciation because people are just living their lives, and it's such a like there's no running water, like the public system. I mean, the like plumbing is poor. Sometimes you have to use the bathroom and like holes in the grounds and stuff like that. You can't drink the water, so it's the showers are cold. Like where I was, they have other places where it's a little bit better, but I think it does allow, like Jeff was saying, and you get an appreciation for the things you have. Granted, I was only there for a couple of weeks. If I was there for longer, then who knows how it would have affected me. But and just seeing the kids and their like hunger to want to learn and things like that. And because I remember what stands out the most is they were learning about a computer like via like on a chalkboard. They were like, "Hey, this is how a computer looks like. This is what the mouse is and stuff like that." And so like not having those like advances in technology definitely shows you like we have it good over here
Where'd
despite
you go for?
sometimes. So when I was in grad school, it was just an opportunity to go, and my program was clinical psych, but it was an English program that was sponsoring people to go or having allowing people to go. And we went over there. We taught. We hooked up with some nonprofit over there. I forget what the name was, but we were able to like we taught the kids a little bit, and then we like adopted like a school, and then we were able to like, and they were building another school, and they were building it out of like concrete, and then you had to and sand like make your own bricks and stuff like that. So that was a pretty interesting thing. And so essentially, it was just to work with the kids and stuff like that. I think all in all, it was just an excuse to go to Ghana.
Yeah.
But it was dope. Yeah, it was really, really, really dope. Just outside of that, just seeing like its connection into like Black America and and the enslaved people and things and having like because a lot of that area in Western Africa is where a lot of the enslaved people came from. Like they're the last time they stepped off the continent, and so it was dope. Like it was very like a sobering experience. But again, it just gave me an appreciation for it. But it's also like that doesn't you can't. I couldn't sustain it. So after like a couple of weeks, I was like back in the
Mm-hmm.
same routine, and but
Yeah.
it's dope. It was just
That's
dope.
probably too a testament of like the desensitization of just like America in general, like how we can see something as crazy, just the craziest things, and then like you said, after a few weeks or whatnot, it's like status quo. You know what I mean? Like all good. You talk about just like a lot of the tragedies that have happened in the world and stuff like that. Just even like trying to watch a scary movie now. Like any fucking scary movie, like, oh, people are leaving the theater. I'm like, you're fucking dumb. This shit's stupid. Like, like, you know what I mean? Like, you just see so much horrible shit that, think about like when you were a kid, like, you never heard a curse word on TV. And now, like, they throwing fuck out on ABC,
Right.
8 o'clock
Yeah.
family show. George Lopez talking about fuck these kids.
Speaking of George Lopez, going
I,
back
I
to
I
what we
don't know if he actually said that though.
going
Just want to say
allegedly going back to what we were talking
alleged.
about with birthdays. Don't you quinceañera? They don't celebrate. Isn't that big in your culture?
I guess I don't know. We ain't no damn
Really?
money.
I thought
I
that was a
remember
big
one
deal.
year, legit. I remember one year making a cake in a microwave. Cause just that was didn't have a fucking cake. Just made this nasty ass microwave chocolate cake. I don't even know if it was real cake mix, but I
Uh,
called it a cake.
use hot
How
cocoa.
old you turn, James? How old are you? You is the big 40?
Nah, 39, 39.
39,
Uh,
knocking on the door.
That's it, man. About to do this last wind sprint up this hill and then just roll down.
I think, Jay, to your point, we should all just start. We should put our birthdays in
oh no, yeah.
after this. We should just all put them in.
Yeah, totally not doing that.
Well,
I'm
I
just
think
gonna
we
put
already know
yours
your
in.
birthday. Yeah,
I'm
I
going
know
to
it's in
put
like
yours in.
June. Isn't coming up in a couple of weeks, right? Oh no, whose
No,
birthday is a
his
couple of
birthday
weeks?
is July.
But
Oh,
also too,
July. Oh,
like
okay.
The
I also
26th
hate
or
that.
the 27th.
I hate the idea of like waiting for specific days to like celebrate. So to like I said, I think we're always friends and shit like that. Like I'd rather just be like, yo, let's get together. Let's just do something.
No, yeah, but it's
Like
the excuse. Like, so I try to get together with folks around my birthday, but it's just an excuse to see people. Like even with this
Yeah.
podcast, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I doubt we'll ever be able to monetize it, especially with all the cursing and stuff like that and jokes. But it's like just an opportunity to
shit.
get to know one another, like on a deeper level. Because like yeah, we all
Right.
know each other and stuff like that, but it's like it's certain things that we share, and then over the course of our 18 to 20 year friendships, like there are things that I don't know, like the stuff you shared last week, or a lot of people shared last week. Like I wouldn't have known some of those things if it wasn't for this. So it's just an opportunity to like become
Okay.
better friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's generally what happens when people celebrate their birthday though, that they're sharing the intimate kind of details that make you feel closer to important people?
So when I try to put things together, that's what I mean, like that's what I do. So like I'll call, like Ron and I would get together, and maybe Glenn or something like that, and like it'll be a couple of days, and like we'll sit around and like just catch up because we don't see each other as frequently as often as we do. So we do have the opportunity to share. Just like when we have like little family reunions and cookouts, it's like
Yeah.
I think we do talk more. Like we'll bullshit a lot, but it's also like talk more
Yeah.
about different, like we get under the level of it's not superficial any longer, and then
There's always deep conversation
right.
at some point,
There's
either
always
as a
that
group
moment.
or in little
Hmm.
pockets.
Yeah, and so
Yep.
I definitely think we grow closer when we have those interactions, and because there's a lot of stuff happens, like even in the 3 weeks of us talking to each other, I think there's a lot of things that have happened in everybody's individual lives, that that we wouldn't have known about. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't have known you moved, James, or like you got an indoor pool, like I mean in-ground pool, like that's crazy, that's amazing, man. Like I wouldn't have
Yeah.
known those things.
I mean, think about it. You were
I
married for
appreciate that,
like
Jay. I think I would
almost a
offer.
year
Jay.
before we found out, James.
Sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah. I mean, it took a fam cookout for you to tell us that you got married.
Yeah.
Look, man, that's that's more about my inability to maintain text conversations than anything
All right.
else. Uh,
Well, let me come to your defense on this because and I think Jeff, we were talking about it the other day too, because like I had this kerfuffle with my older sister the other day, and like when we do connect, we just pick up and go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like you just telling us that you got married or this, that, and another stuff. Like, oh, maybe we were like, oh, you didn't even say something, blah blah. But I think at that moment when you said something, everybody was just like, congrats, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like nobody was like, that's fucked up, man. I didn't
Oh
even
yeah.
know, like blah blah. And I think that serves as like a testament one to like the type of bond that all of us have because I mean, think about even before that fucking cookout. When was the last time anybody talked to James?
that's a fair
You know what
point
I'm
too.
saying? Like
Yeah.
just in general, or even like Carrie. I mean, Carrie don't come around as much, um, but it's like you just keep going. Like eventually, the Dark Knight will join the podcast, and like we'll
Mm-hmm.
give him a little shit, but it'll just, you know, we'll just keep rolling with Thomas being here. Like I don't know why he keeps like hiding out for some weird ass reason. It don't take this fucking long to build up a. department store. See how I didn't mention no jobs, no
I
job
mean,
titles.
I'll say this. Like, I mean, like, I think all of us have spheres of friends, right? Like, some we've got some groups that are closer to another and things like that. Like, if you ask me where I fit in with the fam, it's at like a tier 2 level, and I'm not offended by that, right? Like, you all had a core experience that I was ancillary to from the beginning, right? Like, I became a member of the group
That makes
because
sense.
I was a roommate with a member of the group, right? And y'all, didn't kick the nerd out, which I deeply appreciate. But like to get like one iota too real, like I didn't receive invitations to any of y'all's weddings.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like I kind of just know kind of where in the sphere I was at the time, so I'm not like the idea that um, Jeff, like it took a fam cookout to hear about the fact that I'd like gotten married or was about to get married or like whatever that timing
Yeah.
was. So I was like, yeah, man, I'm super excited to introduce these dudes to my like wife, who is both unexpected and then totally expected simultaneously,
Yeah.
right? Like, right? Like if I like,
Like we knew something was coming. Like we knew
yeah,
there was gonna be something.
yeah, like okay, James is married. That's cool. He's always in some sort of situation. That's fine. Who James married? Not remotely surprising, right? Like, like,
We
so
look at the
like,
we look at the track record.
yeah,
Right.
like
That's
dope.
funny.
This data checks
But
out. Everything's moving according to expectation,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And that's 100% fine and cool with me. I think that gets to my point about like why birthdays don't feel important to me, which is that like the people I feel like I'm really connected to, regardless of like the sphere of that connection, like I'm happy just to reconnect with and pick up. Like, what are the big things going on in your life? Like, okay, man, I've been absent for this sort of stuff, and again, I'm also just like very absent from digital spaces. Some of that's intentional. I think it preserves some of my mental health. That can be another podcast. But like, whatever I can contribute to moving forward, like I think you all know that, like, oh, I'm gonna just give James a call and see what he's got to think about it.
oh yeah.
So he'll drop a whole bunch of ideas. Some of them are good, and he may not show up at the next podcast, but like the next time he can, he will, and he's gonna contribute 100%.
Absolutely.
And I
But
feel
see,
like
and that's what makes our group great though, is I can give you shit about the wedding,
yeah,
and you don't. It's we can give each other shit about any of that, and
Yeah.
it just rolls off. I mean, you know,
I would
at
like
least
to
But
say
that's how I feel.
I've never been married, James. That's Jeff and Jose who didn't invite you. So
also Mark.
well,
and Carrie, shit, and Scene. God damn.
but see, so like
Like I
as
would have
I'm
took offense. I'm like, hey, motherfuckers, like what's going on? I sense a
you know
theme.
it's definitely interesting because like as you say all that, like I totally remember not even thinking about you in that aspect,
Hmm.
but like in the comment that you so in the comment of what you said of like your tier 2, I'll say for me, even though like I didn't think about you for my wedding or this and other stuff, like I've never seen you as a tier 2 friend. Like for me, but also too, like my circle's pretty small. So like these are the closest friendships I got outside of Jeremy as well. You know what I'm saying? Who I've known him since I was 8. But like for me, this is all I got. Like I got people I connect with or hang out with or something like that, but I don't call them like friends. Like James, like from the time of the wedding and stuff, and just being, making this whole thing fucking weird. But like I feel like I'm closer to you now than like I've ever been. You know what I mean? Especially like when we started the podcast. But like even before that, like I've always held you in high regard because just always seen you as a smart dude. Yeah, you Rick James did a lot back in college and those types of things and crazy stories and stuff like that. But like, you know, I do agree with what you're saying because we talked about it like with Mark, and I'm not saying this negatively because he's not here to defend himself, but like, like you said, people have different pockets of core friends,
Yeah, man.
and like for me, this is all I got. Like, Seem, even Thomas, like Ron, I would still love to connect with Ron, but like my circle is so fucking small. Like when you're on the outs of it, you're just on the outs of it. And in real talk, like bitch, we're just in a shitty way of saying it. Like I'm too fucking old to be making friends with people. Like I have acquaintances at work and this shit and that shit, but we ain't friends. I'll never talk to any of those people the way we get on these calls and talk, and like, that was one of the catalysts too for trying to start this podcast, just kind of like what you were saying, Jay, just being able to fucking connect and then just grow even closer over the time, especially, we can go from, it's funny how we can go from talking about coke dick to like tier one friends and all that other stuff, you know what I mean? Like, it's good shit, but like, it's why I think, one of the reasons why I want to continue to do it, or why I will continue, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, yeah. Again, I didn't mean it to be in any way, shape, or form disparaging,
No,
but
I
I think,
took that shit offensive.
like, well,
All good.
don't, I'm sorry you feel so hard, man. Like, I'm like,
It's,
feel your
I
feelings.
mean,
They're
I'm
valid, and we're here
hey,
to hear
just so you know, you about to hit 40. That hard feeling is gonna change, okay?
oh,
I'm gonna run right into that wall, full steam, baby.
Just what's that number for four hymns again?
So
Look,
James,
man,
what's the
I already got my Roman subscription coming. Let's go.
what's the square footage, man? What's the house like?
Oh
Good,
yeah,
man.
make
So
Jeff feel poor. Make Jeff feel poor. Make Jeff feel
no,
poor.
man, Jeff, hey, just cross the Potomac, baby. Come on up. Just come on up, man. It's totally different up here. So we got 2,800 square feet.
sheesh.
Nice.
It's crazy. The house we were in before was 890 square feet.
Whoa.
Yeah, we went from 890 to
I don't know if you can call that a
2,800.
house.
Oh,
we,
There's
were, you,
yeah, it was a
were
it
y'all
was
renting a room? Good lord.
is is a post is a post-war bungalow. very very intimate and cozy setting. One bathroom, three bedrooms, an unfinished basement, and it was like we talked to our landlord about it. We're like, "Yeah, we're thinking about buying. Like, could we buy this house from you?" And he was like, "I'll start the conversation at $650,000."
For 895 square feet.
So
Location.
location, man. We were like 2 minutes like from like Tyson's Corner. Like my wife had a 7 minute commute to work. It was
oh,
crazy. Like so it was just like one of those like kind of just like a nexus of the Beltway
Yeah.
where like we were 20 minutes from everything.
Yeah.
Like I could be at the White House in 20 minutes in traffic. Like crazy.
Yeah.
So it was really really nice, and that's really what we were paying for. And as soon as we like kind of stepped out of that space, and like, oh, what else could we buy for this amount of money in Virginia? It was just like we had to go further and further out. Like, I could have afforded a smaller house in Jose's neck of the woods, but that'd have put me on like a 90-minute commute to work into the city
Yeah.
every day, and like that's not good for me. So we talked all the man, y'all. We talked all this shit about Maryland. We're like, why would you go to Maryland? Like, I'm from Virginia. You know what I mean? Like, the land of sweet meats, baby. This is where bacon comes from. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got some of the best schools in the country. Like, we got
Yeah.
mountains and beaches, and like our women aren't too bad looking. And like, I ain't met anything from Maryland I'm excited to run into. So why would I go up there? And then we walked into this stupid house, man, and it was like, fuck, this is crazy. Like, how much is this? And they're like, it's $100,000 less than the one we were living in.
that's
And I was
crazy.
like, are you like 3 times the space, a heated pool? Like, it's a mature neighborhood. I live on a golf course.
Dang,
Jeez.
Yeah, it's like this is crazy. Like,
Mm.
I'm gonna buy this house.
Yeah.
that's
So
dope.
Now what
do you still
did
go
you?
into work?
Yeah.
What's
It's
your
and the commute for me is the same.
Ah.
It is about 35 to 45 minutes from Falls Church. It's about 35, 45 minutes from here. I live in Fort Washington.
Mm,
So,
nice.
is it
Come on.
did you buy the house for list price, or did you have to go over?
We had to go over asking.
Okay.
Funny story. The house across the street went up the next week. The dude we were competing with, the reason I had to go above listing, moved across the street from me.
Oh shit.
For
Like
cheaper.
he like his
For cheaper.
for cheaper. Yeah, for cheaper. So we had a conversation the other day, and he's like, "Man, I almost bought your house," and I was like,
Yeah, I hate you.
Almost. Hey,
"Man,
I hate
I
you.
guess I guess
that
you I
mean
guess you have
my
to fuck
house is
his
more
wife now,
expensive?"
right? And
Oh,
I
that.
don't know. He's a 70-year-old man. I'm not gonna do that.
so,
Hey,
No,
what are you talking about?
no.
What are you talking about?
I will slap his grandkids at least twice.
oh man.
I'll run up to his house and be like, "Hey man, are you his girl?" "Oh yeah, man, so nice to meet you."
Hi,
Slap.
Jeff.
My
You,
name's Thomas Smiley.
Jeff, you said you and Sarah are looking for homes.
Yeah. Yep.
Are you gonna would you get a home before you guys get married?
Yeah.
Make her sign a prenup?
I don't make that kind of
But that's when it counts.
money.
Like that, shit. If somebody take
That's
half my
it.
money, man, fuck that.
No,
I'm gonna have to kill
that
her.
Better be that. Better be
that's
all
on
of
the
that.
agenda as well.
Oh, word.
So
Oh,
yeah,
that's what's up,
that's
man.
all on the agenda.
Where y'all
Yeah,
looking, Jeff?
in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff's very specific. I tried to like coax him into going to like the surrounding areas, and
Jose
he's
wants
just
to
not
live like
having it.
his life.
I want
He
you to live
doesn't want he doesn't want me to live my own life. He's like, here, let me pick the house out for you. I'll pick out the curtains and the
I'm
floors.
I'm just saying. He's talking about spending $625,000 on a house in Virginia Beach when he can buy a bigger house for $200,000 less right across the border in Chesapeake.
With
I mean,
a much
with that
much longer
that
commute for everybody except
oh
Jose.
my God.
You know, he only cares about his own self. Not
Look, I'll say
about
Chesapeake is garbage.
Oh,
Chesapeake is garbage.
You're out of your fucking mind. We lived out there when you live by Hickory. There's a nice Edinburgh. Now everybody who's listening to this shit is gonna be like, "What the fuck are they talking about?" They had all this new construction out there. Like it's all new construction homes. I get it. I respected it. I don't
no, you
offer
don't
any
respect it.
advice.
You don't
I
respect
just call and ask how things are going. Like I'm in it with you, man.
Where in the
But
beach, Jeff? Where are you looking at?
So we're really kind of looking towards like that Lagomar section, like
Okay.
that
Yeah.
area of the woods, like
Yeah.
kind of like over in that area. So
where people have a lot of money. That's what he's
That's where
trying to say.
that's where my parents live.
I remember.
My parents live in Southgate, which
Oh, okay.
is up by Red Mill.
Mm-hmm.
Do they still live there?
They still live there. Yeah.
I feel like
Check that neighborhood out. Like
Yeah,
it's
we
kind of in
have.
that.
We're on
that
that whole section all the
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah. So
Um.
your
Yeah.
story gives me hope. So
Yeah, man. It's a you know
it's
what? It's a neighborhood in conversion,
yeah,
right? Like so, some older folks who are retiring
yeah,
are like moving out of the neighborhood. So there's some opportunities for maybe
dying.
younger
yeah.
folks. Excuse me, guys, for a second. My beautiful wife just came in, and I'm getting some eyeballs, so I gotta answer some questions. I'm gonna mute my microphone and disappear.
I was wondering. I thought somebody was like trying to kill you. You kept looking
You
behind
guys,
you. I didn't know what was going
I heard the
on.
heartbeat quicken.
All right.
guys,
So,
I will be right back.
all right. So Jeff. So has Lisa met Sarah?
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
So they were so Finn just turned 12 last week. So we
Oh,
had a
nice.
family birthday
Mhm.
this weekend. And so we try to do as much stuff together as possible. So like uh Sarah and I played cornhole with Lisa and her boyfriend. So,
Oh, okay.
like
Oh,
we try to keep things as close,
when you say
as
we try to do
possible.
things together, what do you mean? Who is we?
Like me and Sarah,
Uh-huh.
Lisa, like we
With the
like
kids and shit.
like
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. So we try to
yeah.
do as
Uh,
much stuff
yeah.
like that as possible.
No, I asked. Oh, go ahead, Jose.
No, I was gonna say, I give it up to him though for real for trying to like. He's definitely. I mean, like I said, we talk all the time, but like try to keep that like, hey, try to keep it as normal as possible for the boys and like be accepting of the other side of the tracks.
But no, I asked because I think I called you when I was trying to meet the fiance or so
Yeah.
now current fiance, and
What?
so yeah they're about to
The
get married.
African dude?
Yeah, yeah. So
That's right.
he
'Cause
was
you
lying
would.
and shit. Yeah, he was lying. But I mean, that's what she chose. Like,
Yeah.
and so it is what it is. Like, so like,
Man,
yeah, it is what it is. They're supposed to get married in September, and my kid, we were talking randomly one day, and she was like, Dad, you're not invited to the wedding. I was like, all right, fuck you then.
Yeah.
And so, but no, I was like, all right, it's cool, like, blah blah blah. And she was like, yeah, I asked my mom, and she said you can't come. I was like, all right. I was like, but what if I, want to come? And she was like, well, I can't sneak you under my dress because she's like going to be the flower girl. So, no, but so recently. I had uh I had talked to Paris about like meeting because she hasn't met Cadence yet, and like because Cadence will come in and like would be like nosy, like if I'm on the phone doing FaceTime or whatever like that, or she's
Mm-hmm.
like, who you talking to, blah blah blah. And so she knows her via the phone and FaceTime and stuff, and so Um, like I've gotten to the point where trying to think about it and stuff because this is like the first woman like I'm intentionally trying to have her meet,
Yeah.
and so out of respect for her mom and because even though her mom didn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
like so, I was like, hey, I reached out, I talked to Paris with it. She said she was fine with it, and I talked to Candace. I was like, hey, I know the baby has talked to you about my girlfriend and blah blah blah, and like, hey, do you want to meet her? And she was like, yeah. And so now we're like trying to put it together to get them to meet, so I can introduce the kid to Paris. And so it's I don't know. I'm having like I don't think like I'm getting anxious about it, even though I'm not. I think it's mostly because Paris can be a smart ass, and like I don't want it to go left. Because Candace can too. I don't want it to go left. And so we were talking. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, what if she asks you, like, what are your plans? And Paris was like, well, I'll tell her that's not her business. And I was like, oh, like, I get it. But it's
Yeah.
like, what I mean? Like, maybe she just
Still
wants
her
to know.
mom.
Yeah. And it's like,
Yeah.
so just trying to, but also like not wanting to say, to like not have wanting to give Paris the space to like be herself, but also
Mm-hmm.
like be comfortable and like, hey, you got to do you, and I'm gonna still be because at the end of the day, you coming, she ain't coming home with me because we don't live together, but like I'm gonna be with you, and so whatever you
Yeah.
decide, just
Yeah.
just think
It's a
about
big
it.
step.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no, yeah, I think it is, and so I think she was a little bit nervous about everything. James, we're talking about. I told I asked Jeff about if Sarah and Lisa have met and stuff like that, and I'm planning on introducing my current girlfriend to my kid. But prior to that, I want to introduce my current girlfriend to my kid's mom,
Are you going
and
to
stuff
be
like that.
present for it? Are you like the three? You going to go to dinner? Or you going to let the two of them like meet for coffee
So
and that'll be enough?
yeah, I'm gonna let them meet just alone. It's one because of our situation, like with the kid and stuff. So the kid will be with
Mm.
me, and so I don't like that because I'm not gonna be able to like control it as much as possible. But I mean, I don't know if you know James. Like, so I met Candace. Candace is about to get married in September. She has a fiance. Uh, and the initial thing going into like when we first broke up was, hey, if you ever want to bring somebody around my kid, I need to meet that person first. And so initially I thought it was about like control, but I talked to Jeff about it a little bit, and it was like, no, it's a respect thing. If this person's gonna be around your kid, and so I was like, cool. But she didn't do that. She had this random dude around my child for like, I want to say like a year, and there were signs there where I kind of like put things together, and then I confronted it on her, and she was like playing all coy, like, oh yeah, well, I talked to my friends, and they didn't know what to do, and I didn't know what to do, blah blah blah. So I was fucking pissed, and then when I met the dude, he was lying to me. Like we were talking for like 45 minutes to an hour. We met one on one, and she didn't want to introduce. Like she gave me his name, but she wouldn't tell me anything else. She wouldn't let me get a picture of him so I can know who he was when I met him. She like wouldn't tell me what he did for a living. It was just like weird shit that she was hiding. And then when I met him, he started lying about dumb shit. Like he lied about being in the military. He lied about like his athletic achievements and shit like that. And it was just weird. And I knew he was lying just based on my experience and stuff. Like I was like, oh, this dude is lying to me. And when I confronted her on it, she was like, nah, he not lying. Blah blah blah. Fucking like a week later, she calls me and is like, hey, you were right. Um,
He
he
wasn't the first round draft pick to the Detroit
right.
Lions.
She was like, you were right. He lied. We found out he lied about XYZ. And so I wanted to be like, yeah, you stupid fucking motherfucker. Like, but then I was like, no. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Blah blah blah. So like, fast forward like a year later, they're getting engaged. They got engaged. And um, so yeah. So it's yeah, it is what it
Crazy.
is. But like
Yeah.
he's taking care. Like my kid seems to like him, and as long as he don't do anything, like reckless or anything dumb, then it's cool. Like as long as she's happy, then I'm happy for her because she deserves like she deserves somebody to treat her well and treat her with respect. Somebody to tell her, be honest with her and stuff. Because she's a good girl. She
Didn't
got a
you
good
just
heart and shit like that.
I
didn't
think
you say he
today, I
was a
think
liar?
That's
Like,
what
didn't
I
you just
said. She deserves somebody who doesn't,
She
lie.
deserves it. She might not be getting
Yeah,
that, but that's what
cause
she
yeah,
deserves.
she
well, yeah,
deserves it.
cause the
Respect.
motherfucker tried to call me. It was like, Jason, can we meet? Because I want to apologize. I was like, no, like, what are we meeting for? Like, you fucking lied. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
He tried to hit you with some true lies shit. He was like, "Oh
yeah.
shit, I got a mission. I
And
gotta go.
the
I
most
can't tell you about it."
the stupidest thing he lied about.
Car dealership.
He's from Sierra Leone, and this motherfucker said he was half Jamaican, half Sierra Leone, and he lied about that. I was like, why would you? You're 40 years old. Why would you lie about? Because you want to say Bumaclod. You want people to think you're Jamaican and shit. And I'm like, why would you lie about some stupid shit? It's just weird shit, but
The dumbest shit.
yeah, but it
Jay,
was just,
I think you're doing it right, man.
oh,
I think it's really wise of you to let them meet kind of in your absence, right?
yeah,
To feel each other out and talk it out in
right,
whatever
right,
ways
right.
they need to do. Like like before this marriage, that last big relationship I had, I was like a stepdad for like 5 years,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Essentially, and so I didn't. When I reflect about like how I met that boy's father, like I think I met him during like a drop off at a police station, right? Which doesn't
Wow.
present me in a
Right,
positive light,
right, right,
right?
right.
And I think the first time I had a conversation with a guy, we were accidentally at the same Toys R Us buying like birthday presents for his son,
That's crazy.
right? And like I was there, and like he was with his girlfriend, and I was like, "Oh, yo, like what's up?" And he's like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And like it's like had a conversation, saw what he had in his hand. It was really similar, and I was like, "Yo, man, listen, listen, like dads win, right? Like fathers win, right?
Yeah.
So like, what are you gonna get for him? Like, what are the things that you're really focused on? Like, I want to just be supportive. These are the things that are happening around. Like, he's super into math, man. Like, get him
Did
something about math.
did he hit you up for some money?
No, 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 no. That was never gonna happen. I was super broke.
Hey.
So you were with
But like,
for five. I'm sorry. Go
yeah,
ahead.
no, 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 no. I'm good. Yeah,
Oh,
5 years. So we were together for 5 years.
so how does that like after like y'all not together no more? Like how does that work? Like 5 years is a long time in a kid's life. So you were like,
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking too. Like, if do you still
how
have a
old?
relationship?
What was the age? Like he turn he was 8 when y'all met. Now he's 13. Like how old?
No, he was 2 when we met, and he
Oh
was
shit!
7 when we broke up. So like,
Damn.
it was really tough, man. Like I think when I like really kind of reconnected with the fam, right, was after that breakup, and I was in a real like, you guys showed up right on time. I was in a real dark place,
Mm.
and so like I mean, I taught this dude how to like tie his shoes,
Right.
taught him how to ride a bicycle. I taught him how to like have a fight with his friends and then still be friends the next day. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Hey, you were dad, dude. You were
yeah,
dad.
That's it.
yeah.
You
Like
were
I,
I mean,
dad.
like there was a day when the kid told me he's like, "I like you more than my dad," and
Ooh.
mm.
I was like, "Yeah, man, that makes sense. I'm dope."
So I kind of wonder now, like, if you left, and this is gonna sound terrible, but if you left at a time where now he's just gonna be like a badass athlete because now he has a chip on his shoulder because the only father figure he had left him.
Mm.
He's got something
uh,
to prove.
I went. Man, that's a beautiful story, Jose. Your kid was not particularly gifted in that way.
He likes math.
That's right.
He
He
likes
said he
math.
likes math. It's
Yeah,
like my
I think
son. My son likes math.
he's a sensitive kid, man. I think he'll be an amazing artist. He'll cut his own ear off or some shit like that. I don't know.
Oh,
That's
Did,
terrible. Like I'll tell you this right now. If I won the lottery today, and I've talked to my wife about this, if I won the lottery today, I would give that kid $1 million.
I'm sorry. Did you say white wife or wife? Did you stutter in between?
I don't think I did.
Okay. There was like a
Uh,
pause. I didn't know what's going. So you don't have any interaction with him anymore, though. Like,
none whatsoever.
I
None
got you.
whatsoever.
I mean, I'm sure it's probably better that way, just with the relationship side of the house with the female.
Maybe I don't. I mean, I don't know, man. I
yeah,
didn't
that's
get the
tough.
opportunity to choose. I didn't get a chance to like really feel it out. Like I want to believe that I could have been a positive force regardless of the end
Yeah.
of the relationship.
Mhm.
But you know, there's a
This,
different universe where someone got to figure that out.
Yep.
yeah, it's. I feel like we definitely should get into some of that shit in like a later podcast. But like, it's like when Jeff and I used to coach, and I think Jeff, it was probably you that even said it to me. It's like there's always gonna be another kid. Like in regards to like, I wanted to quit, but there was always something there to kind of keep you, you know what I mean? Like it's just that feeling, and then like you said, just cutting it off and trying to move on with your life. Like even to this day, I'm like, man, I would love to get back into coaching, but then I'm like, I can't do. I got fucking 3 kids, bitch. I ain't got no
Yeah.
time for no shit like that. So
You're coaching all the time now, right? In different
Yeah.
ways.
shit,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
I think shortly after we broke up, the Sandy Hook shooting happened.
Mm,
Right. Like, and I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, this kid was like in kindergarten. And I was like, yo, like, I reached out to her and I was like, hey, man, like, I just, it's a crazy day on reflecting on how fortunate we were to have this dude come home every day. And
right.
hope you guys are doing well.
was it a mutual breakup?
It was not. No. No, it was not.
Okay.
I was super bought in, and she was convinced that I was trying to step out on her, which I'm very good at and was not doing.
You-
Uh,
I don't know how good you were at it.
I was practiced.
Well,
Let's say I was practiced.
Yeah, you were well versed.
Yeah, I was practiced. I was practiced at the art. And she was convinced it was happening. I was like, "It's not. I promise you, it's not happening." And she's like, "Well, like with this seed of doubt in my mind, I can't move forward." And she's
mm,
like, "Get out." And I was like,
God damn.
"Fuck, man! Like I'm
Did so
already
did you ever think that she was stepping out?
no."
And I only ask, and I only ask because the person that I was in a relationship before I was married, I that thought never crossed my mind, not one time in our entire relationship. Period. Like I would like think of anything. I mean, we had a shitty relationship, and she would accuse me of like talking to girls and this shit and that shit, and have to deal with all that bullshit. And then it was like when we took a break, I get a call 2.5 months later saying that she's pregnant with some dude's baby, and then like when that hit me like a ton of bricks, and then I came out of the other side of it, like I sat down and really thought about stuff, and I was like, damn, there were times where she didn't come home, or like I went and saw, and I never told her this, like I went and surprised her at college one time, like when I was at Sydney, and I was like, yo, where you at? Like, what you doing? She was like, oh, I'm in the library. And so like I fucking went in the library, walked every floor, every room, and she wasn't there. And I'm like asking people on campus, like, yo, is there another library? They're like, nah, this is it. And then I call her. I'm like, hey, like, I'm in the fucking library. Like, where are you? And she was like, oh, I had just left. And she came walking up like 15 minutes later. And I just never thought anything of it because
Mhm.
I was like, nah, it's not a thing. Now, I was probably doing my own misdeeds on the side, but like I was so in deep on it that you couldn't have told me that she was cheating on me. And as I sat back and reflected, I was like, damn, she probably was getting it in more frequently than just this one time she got fucking knocked up. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, uh, I'll. There's been long enough time that I cannot reflect with integrity on any of those memories. Right.
Gotcha.
If you had asked me this question 10 years ago, you'd have ruined my whole fucking month, bro. Right. Today, like the answer that like no, man, I didn't think about it at the time. It
Yeah.
seemed like an impossibility. If she was doing it, she's fucking way better at it than I ever was. And she got off. She got away with it.
I
Good on you,
mean,
boo. Right?
So, question, Jose. Um, isn't Biz Marquise just a friend about that situation? Like he goes to college, he goes to her school, and she
Don't
finds out.
surprise people at college, bro. Do
Yeah.
not surprise people at college. That's what I'm gonna tell Baby Jordan. Like, yo, your
bruh,
mama go surprise.
Don't
Don't do
do it,
that.
man.
Don't do that.
I fucking compartmentalize like a motherfucker off of that thing. And here's the crazy shit, and I'll be honest with the shit. This is how much like I didn't want to believe it, or just didn't see it. Like there was a fucking message on her computer talking about like, hey, uh,
Suck
it
a
was fun
dick.
hanging
I'll
out.
see you later.
No, it was like from some dude. He was like,
Let me
hey,
know when he's
it was
gone.
it was great hanging out. Like, give me a call. Like, let's hang out again and shit like that. And I was like, the fuck is this? And she was like, oh, that was some story of a story. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, okay. And just in my mind, like it just didn't compute. Like, and I'll be 100% honest. Like, yes, I was doing things on the side as well, but like for me with this person who was like this, like homegrown Molly McMahon, you know what I mean? Like just
Hmm.
a quiet person. Like I was like, there's no fucking way. And then again, like I said, when you reflect on everything, I was like, holy shit, you stupid motherfucker. Like you stuck in this terrible ass relationship. Meanwhile, she's probably out here hobnobbing, fucking deep gobbling on some other
Oh
Some
my
dudes
God.
in
baby.
college.
Did you ever think the baby was yours?
Yes,
Ooh.
real talk. So like, and all this happened because I had stopped. We hadn't talked for a few months. It was like 2.5 months, and she called me, and it fucked me up for a little bit. And then I was just like, I told her like, I'll do whatever. We can make this work, because I was like mind fucked, like for real. And I was like trying to convince myself to raise somebody else's kid, and I was like convincing myself maybe it was yours, but like the truth of the matter was, is like our relationship was so trash, we weren't even having sex.
Mhm.
Like it wasn't even a possibility.
Right.
But because it was so wild, yeah, I had those thoughts. And then like I had started talking to Kayla towards like the end of the pregnancy and stuff, and I told her straight up, I said, hey, look, this is kind of the situation that I'm in. She says she's pregnant. She tried to tell me it was mine when she told me. She was like, it's your baby. And then like she was crying and all this other stuff, but then like 2 weeks later she like flipped the script and like tried to like ghost me and not talk about it and all this other stuff. And then she was like, oh, it's not yours, blah blah blah. So in that whole whirlwind thing. So yeah, I did think it was mine. I never checked though. I never looked into it. I just figured I can handle someone knocking on my door 18 years from now saying I'm your daughter, because I'm like, sweet, I didn't have to pay for anything.
Right. Right.
But
'Cause that shit
Kayla,
sucks.
yeah. But like, when this was young in my relationship with Kayla and stuff like that, and I remember her telling me, years down the line, she was like, we were talking about this whole thing, and she was like, I Facebook stalked her, and she was like, that baby was white as the driven snow with blue eyes. So she was like, I text my friend and was like, it's not Jose's baby. I was like, oh, okay.
And then
I
Jacob
ain't
was
know.
born, and they were like, it could have been possible.
Oh my,
Yeah.
exactly. But again, I'm not looking into it. Somebody knocks on my door some years from now, I can handle that.
That's
Like,
crazy. Yeah, that's tough, man.
yeah. Nah, that shit was wild. I remember I ghosted Jeff. I ghosted everybody. It wasn't until like Jeremy's dad called me, and like he was like, "Hey man, you all right?" you know, and like his dad was like the goat for all of us growing up and shit. And so like I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm okay." He's like, "Yeah." He said, "Everybody's trying to call you, and you're not talking to anybody. Like, you doing all right?" I'm like, "I'm all right." I didn't go into it with them, but and that kind of took me out of the funk. And then like I was, stupid. It's a stupid story, but I was in a hotel in Colorado because I was there for the weekend for some stuff, and flipping through the channel, and I stopped on something, and they're interviewing this guy, and he's talking about his wife who has terminal brain cancer, and he's just like, she's going to die in 6 months. Nothing we can do. They know she's going to die. And he's like, yeah. He's like, we're just loving life. She's like playing with the kids. He's like, we just enjoying every day and just loving life. And I just looked at myself. I was like, you stupid motherfucker. I was like, some bitch cheated on you. Like this dude's fucking wife is dying and they got kids. And he's like, life's great. And I was like, so like later from that moment on, I was like, fuck her, fuck this. When I got back, I was like, hey, I need the rest of my shit. And got my shit. And like literally the day I got my shit was when Kayla hit me up. It was like, hey, you want to hang out? And I was like, yes, because I'm gonna smash you, and then I'm gonna smash like 50 other girls. And unfortunately, we just clicked, and I got fucking married like an asshole.
Mm, mm. 50 short, huh? Come on.
50, so 49 short. Oh, no,
Yep.
50. But
Yep.
didn't Thomas inform you? Wasn't he the first person to tell you that she was pregnant?
Bro, no,
Oh,
I knew that Thomas was the first one to be like, yo, congratulations. And I was like, I just remember texting that bitch back, it's not mine. He was like, oh, my bad. And that was it. He just he faded to black on that one.
oh
That continues
man.
to be one of my favorite stories of all time.
I'll never forget that shit. He was like, "Yo, man, congratulations." I was like, "It's not mine." He was like, "Oh
How
shit."
did he know though? Was he cool
Like,
with
She
Sarah?
she put it on Facebook. I think
why?
Facebook friends.
Like, why is Thomas so bad at human interaction? Like, why?
I think he's an alien, but that's another podcast. We're gonna get into aliens eventually.
Oh man,
Just, he's so bad at it.
that is funny. Congrats, bro. Yes, that
He was
is
hyped too. I think there was like some
a lot of
emojis
a
in
lot
it and
of
shit. Just
exclamation points.
He like read
uh,
it. He like read it in a manual. He's like, okay, when a friend does this, this is the appropriate response. It's
Oh,
like, I can do
man.
that. I'm
He
working
he
on it.
is the worst with like that's why he hasn't joined. I don't know what he's. I think he hasn't joined because he thinks we're gonna bag on him like for an hour, which
We are.
Not a whole
ah,
hour, maybe 10
We
minutes.
just
I
look. Just tell him it starts as 8. We'll just dig into him from 8 until 8:45. We'll
just
spend
get just
8:45 to 8:55. Let him know is all fucking around, and then we'll start the recording at 9.
he just needs to he just needs to just fucking get over it. Take your medicine, and then I mean he's got something to contribute like everybody else does. I think he's got. I'd be curious to see what like the alien perspective is on a lot of things we
Oh my
talk about.
goodness.
Yeah, just tell him to give us the secret to cold fusion, man. Come on.
That's,
Confusion. I just think he likes being that shadowy figure. Like
Yeah,
I do it all alone. You know what I mean? Like I
because
feel like
he's successful, so he's
he's
doing
very
yeah, he
something
is.
successful.
right in his life, and I think he does have a lot to contribute. He just contributes to us differently than he does.
I think so
I
too.
agree with,
We,
yeah.
we should ask him what sphere we're in for him. Like
That's a,
maybe we're all like tier 3 friends to Thomas. And he's got he's got the homies on the mothership. You got to take care of them.
That's
You got to
it.
take care of the
That's it.
mothership. We respect that. But like,
yeah.
who's between us and the mothership, bro? Like, what are you doing?
I think because we treat him like
Opposite.
the little brother. And even though like the age difference isn't that great, but I think, and so, but because I've seen him interact with, like other people and other friend groups and
Yeah.
stuff, it's more of a peer interaction, and we treat
His
him like,
brothers are like that, right, Jay? Like his frat brothers.
oh yeah, no, yeah, I've
He
seen,
seems to be a lot closer.
He's real big in the frat game.
yeah, with them. I mean, I've seen him with like interaction, like because he hangs out with like people from Longwood and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a different, yeah, it's just a different relationship. But it's also too like we've seen him do silly things, and so it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
with them, yeah,
Yeah.
if you the more you know, more
Right.
you can. But
Yeah, oh,
yeah,
I'm
he
sure
has
it's
a
like
lot. Like,
work friend. You know how your work personality versus like your because this is a hard group to be in. Like if you're in this fucking circle, like you've taken a lot of shit from all of you know what I mean. Like we're just fucking mean. But like we're there for each other, and then on the work friends, you know, you're like when I'm at work, I'm like, hi Jay, how are you today? You know, like how was the weekend, buddy?
yeah, but he's like, because we've hung out with everybody, and it's still this kind of same. But it's also like we've talked, like Thomas and I have had like good conversations and stuff like that about different things. And he is pretty successful in his career, and like I like Thomas a lot, man. Like
Yeah,
um, Thomas is consistently himself, which I think is
Mm-hmm.
rare. And it was rare to find, like, regardless how much shit we give him, he's like consistently himself, and like he has a lot to offer. I think. Um,
Yeah. That's why I
but we
wish he
just
would
gotta.
join. I
Yeah.
yeah.
wish
I
he would
think
join.
They,
he's legit a good friend. Like
oh no, for sure,
I
by
always
far.
get him. Yeah,
Yeah.
I always get messages from him. Like if I post something, he's just like, "Congrats, man!" Or like he's always very super supportive, and like I think I always wonder if like he feels like that we give him shit that we think any different of him than you know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like you said,
no.
like
Yeah.
I I think we all hold him in very high regard, other than the
Right.
fact that he's like he's an easy target.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So I had this really interesting phenomenon when I got married. Like, so we pick at each other a lot in my family, right? So I like to tell people that like if a Jordan is like giving you a hard time, it's because we care,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm gonna make fun of you, like because like number one, like I've also given you that power for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I give you shit, Jay, you can like always pick right back at me, and like I'm probably gonna laugh about it because I'm pretty self aware, right? But beyond that, like we pick at things we care about, right? Like we are interested in interrogating spaces of important things, like
Yeah.
generally speaking. And so when my wife and I were getting married, a lot of her friends were like, "Oh, James's family seems really mean to you." And she's like, "No, no, no, no. This is like how they demonstrate affection." And I was like, "Yeah, man. If I don't make fun of you, I don't think about you. I don't
Yeah.
give two shits about you. I haven't noticed anything about you." Right? But like, if I'm coming for your hairline, or if I'm if I'm coming for your shirt or your sweaters or whatever, it's like because I'm paying attention to you because you
Yeah.
matter, you're important. And I feel like Thomas is the same way in that regard. Like I would part of it for me is like I don't know that I know Thomas in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
And I'd like to. I would really like to, because I feel like, we're engaged in some of the same spaces. but like I was exiting when he was entering, and
Hmm.
so like we don't have some of that same overlap, right? And um, like I get the sense that it'd be really fun to yeah, man, pick at me, Thomas. Tell me about my hairline, right? Tell me, tell me how you like my polo shirts, bro. That's dope.
He said that's
they
dope.
they are a little ridiculous, man. Yeah, like I appreciate that. I don't know that I know Thomas, and I'd like to know better.
I don't think any of us know Thomas. Jay, you probably, like I said, you've had conversations. I remember the last Fam Connect, we was like, all right, Thomas, we're gonna take fucking 5 minutes. You're just gonna tell us something about yourself because we've talked about it. Like we don't really know that backstory. I mean, we went to Gloucester that one time, but it's like I don't know. He would be at the bottom of ranking of knowing much about them
Yeah.
out of all of this friend group.
Yeah, I don't know. I know because he has a brother, and so like it's
Hmm.
those details like outside of like anything pre-school. Like I have like really
Yeah,
don't know too much about it, but it's also
Yeah,
like, but it's also us and creating the environment in which he feels or anybody else feels vulnerable enough that they can share that information with us. And so, because I mean, it's important because it's like I think this whole thing is and me. One of my goals as I get older is is trying to be a better friend to the people with whom I call friends. Like you, Jose. I don't use that term loosely. I don't have any like real life brothers, and you all are the closest thing I have. You all, I treat you as my brothers, as if I did have brothers, and so like I take that friendship very important. But it's also like, yeah, like we don't know each other's birthdays and stuff like that. But those things should be celebrated. Life should be celebrated because at any given moment, like shit, fucking with Sean Middlebrooks got on a motorcycle accident and got killed.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like anything can happen so quickly. And the death is inevitable, and so we just have to appreciate each other. But we have to create those spaces for each other, and so we
I
just got to
like it.
be nicer,
I like it.
you know.
Yeah, it got depressing real quick, but it's
But
honest.
he can never talk about your hairline, James. I just wanted to say that
it's one of the reasons I'm too cool, baby. It's
I,
so strong.
it's strong,
Just
but Thomas's is quite the opposite.
He's got other
He
strengths.
got to see. He has other strengths. He has other strengths. And see, I'm not creating a space. And if he was to watch this, he'd be like, "What the fuck, bro? I'm trying to do good."
oh, he 100% listens to all of these. He likes to lurk in the background. Like I said, I think in Thomas, the first episode you joined, we definitely want to dedicate to you and have you just, we just gonna ask questions about you. So stop being a bitch and join it because I know you're listening.
Listening.
Yeah,
That's pretty
Thomas,
good.
we love you. Come on, man.
We love you, dog. All right.
Get a
So
microphone, bro.
we'll wrap this up. But while you were talking, I was trying to find like if there's actually a term for coke dick, uh, but I couldn't find one. There's
That's the
there's something
term.
called there's something called a Philly Willy.
A
Um,
Philly Willy?
I didn't click on the link though.
Yeah.
A Philly Willy, but it also says you can get necrosis, penile necrosis associated with that.
Mm.
So
It might be
there's
worth
a
it, though.
Yeah, right.
everything. What is
Tell me how
coke
it
dick?
goes.
Simply put, coke dick is when you use cocaine when the use of cocaine stops you from being able to get an erection. Oh, so
Mm.
coke dick
It's like
is
whiskey dick.
similar to whiskey
Uh,
dick, which is the Philly Willy.
okay.
Mm.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Coke.
that's not.
Makes sense.
We used coke as the verb, right? So it was more
uh,
like, you know, it was. There's the thing powering the dick.
Yeah.
This is terrible. Uh,
Yeah. The more you
I
explain
can't.
it, the worse it
I
is.
can't. Yeah, we're
So
gonna
that's probably why you can go
abandon this etymological lesson for sure.
for longer because it gives you ejaculation issues, can cause vascular damage, decreased libido.
Oh man.
All right, let's wrap this one up then.
Yeah.
So
Thanks
maybe
for
I'm gonna
thanks for
think
ending
about
that.
I'm gonna think again before I try the coke dick thing. I'll get back to you guys though if I end up
Yeah.
doing
Let
it.
us
Yeah,
know.
no. Well, I mean, I like the way you ended it though, because I mean, I think for the kids at home, just don't do drugs.
Don't do it, man. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth
Just
it.
put a line of like creatine on there. You'd be all right.
Yeah, that's
All right, gents. Y'all have a great couple of weeks.
All right, boys.
All right.
Hey, so just so you know, we're kind of like I said. I think one of the things too to try to get our stride going is like 3 weeks is good.
Yeah.
Maybe we try and move up to 2 weeks or something like that just to see how it goes. I got a kid at work that he does something with podcasts. He brought it up in another conversation. I told him to set up a meeting with me so I could talk. He could tell me more about some other stuff that he does or whatnot or things like that. But as we've said before, mentally committed. I'll do this shit by myself. But it's so much more fun when we have all you guys on here. Asim texted me too, and he was like, "My group me died, so he didn't get any of the notifications, so that's why he wasn't
Oh,
on."
yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know what
I,
that
d- I
means.
don't.
It's
He
only a bunch
actually
of
sent
zeros in a server. You're a computer scientist, Jose. What does that mean?
he actually sent me a screenshot of it too, saying it wasn't
That's
working.
no, he's lying. That's the
Gr-
ultimate lie. Like I
But,
have to
but
convince you.
I don't know
Yeah,
if you can see it. It says group me has stopped.
yeah. No, that's I can Google that as well. What does Group
It's
Me look
just
like?
Google.
Yeah,
Uh, Hey, only poor people use Google now. Now it's all Chat GPT. Just ask Chat GPT. They'll take care of everything.
well, I'm poor. I'll be the poorest.
Hey, real talk. So we'll do it again in 3 weeks, and then after that,
Yep.
like I said, just want to keep it rolling. But all right, boys, episode 3 in the
Happy
books.
birthday,
Coke
James.
Dick, happy birthday! Congrats on the
Happy
house again.
birthday, dog.
Can't wait to come check it out and throw some meat on your grill.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
see y'all soon.
in the
See you
mouth
next time.
grill. Peace out.
All right, love y'all, boys.
Love you too. Peace.